Here we go. Right now, scene 3, Venice, a council chamber. The Duke and senators sitting at a table. There are officers attending. They are reading a bunch of papers, essentially, the senator and the Duke. Here's the Duke. There is no composition in these news that gives them credit. Here's the first senator.
Indeed, they are disproportioned. My letters say 170 galleys.
And mine 140.
And mine 200. But though they jump not on a just account, as in these cases, where the aim reports 'tis off with difference, yet do they confirm a Turkish fleet and bearing up to Cyprus.
Nay, it is possible enough to judgment. I do not so secure me in the error, but the main article I do approve, in fearful sense. Umi-sai! Hey everybody, it's Umi-sai! Hey, hello! Oh, you just missed me playing Cuphead! I did a challenge where if I died twice in a level, I had to quit, and I died twice in a level, and I had to quit. Everyone, Umi-sai here is one of my lovely guests. She was an absolute delight to have on the show. We sang a lot of songs. It was like one of the more peaceful streams I've ever had. So, good to see ya! And of course, it says lurk. But I just want to say thank you for coming here, Umi-sai. Thank you. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you. Anyway, back to the senators. Talking about news. Possible a Turkish fleet heading to Cyprus. That's what this is about. Because they're at war with the Turks right now. A sailor says, "What ho! What ho! What ho!" Here's an officer. "A messenger from the galleys." The sailor enters. Here's the Duke. "Now, what's the business?" Here's the sailor.
"The Turkish preparation makes for Rhodes. So was I bid report here to the state by Signor Angelo."
"How say you by this charge?"
This cannot be. This is a senator. This cannot be. By no assay of reason, 'tis a pageant to keep us in false gaze, when we consider the importance of Cyprus to the Turk, and then ourselves again. But understand that as it more concerns the Turk than Rhodes, so may he with more facile question bear it. For that it stands not in such warlike brace, but altogether lacks the abilities that Rhodes indressed in. If we make thought of this, we must not think the Turk is so unskillful to leave that latest which concerns him first, neglecting an attempt of ease and gain, to wake and wage a danger of profitless.
Nay, in all confidence, he's not for Rhodes.
Here is more news.
Enter a messenger.
The Ottomites, reverend and gracious, steering with due course towards the Isle of Rhodes, have 3 enjointed them with an after fleet. Aye, so I thought. How many as you guess? Of 30 sail, and now they do restem their backward course, bearing with frank appearance their purposes towards Cyprus. Signor Montano, your trusty and most valiant servitor, with his free duty recommends you thus, and prays you to believe him.
'Tis certain, then, for Cyprus. Marcus Lusicus, is not he in town?
He's now in Florence.
Write from us to him. Post haste dispatch.
Here comes Brabantio and the valiant Moor.
Enter Brabantio, Othello, Iago, and Rodrigo and officers. Valiant Othello, we must straight employ you against the general enemy, Ultiman. Now, the Duke talks to Brabantio. I did not see you. Welcome, gentle signor. We lacked your counsel and your help tonight. This is Brabantio, the angry father.
So did I yours. Good your grace pardon me. Neither my place nor aught I heard of business hath raised me from my bed, nor doth the general care take hold on me. For my particular grief is of so floodgate and o'erbearing nature that it engluts and swallows other sorrows, and it is still itself.
Why, what's the matter?
My daughter! Oh, my daughter!
Dead?
To me, she is abused, stolen from me, and corrupted by spells and medicines bought of mountebanks. For nature, so preposterously to err, being not deficient, blind, or lame of sense, sans witchcraft could not. Whoever he be, that in this foul proceeding hath thus beguiled your daughter of herself, and you of her, in the bloody book of law, you shall yourself read it in the bitter letter, after your own sense, yea, though our proper son stood in your action.
Welcome back, Sumio. I failed. I died twice, and now we're reading Othello. And now we're at the scene where Othello is going to explain to the senators how he's innocent of witchcraft to mesmerize Desdemona for her love. Yeah, that's where we're at. Anyway, here's Brabantio for Sumio.
Humbly I thank your grace. Here is the man, this Moor, whom now it seems your special mandate for the state affairs hath hither brought.
We are all so very sorry for it.
That's what everyone in the room said. Here's the Duke to Othello. What, in your own part, can you say to this?
Nothing, but this is so.
Here's Othello.
Most potent, grave, and reverend signors, my very noble and approved masters, that I have taken away this old man's daughter, it is most true. True, I have married her. The very head and front of my offending hath this extent, no more. Rude am I in my speech, and little blessed with the soft phrase of peace, for since these arms of mine had 7 years' pith, till now some 9 moons wasted, they have used their dearest action in the tented field, and little of this great world can I speak, more than pertains to feats of broil and battle. And therefore, little shall I grace my cause in speaking for myself, yet by your gracious patience, I will a round, unvarnished tale deliver of my whole course of love. What drugs, what charms, what conjuration, and what mighty magic, for such proceeding I am charged withal, I won his daughter.
A maiden never bold, of spirit so still and quiet, that her motion blushed at herself, and she, in spite of nature, of years of country credit, everything, to fall in love with what she feared to look on. It is judgment maimed, and most imperfect, that will confess perfection to could err against all rules of nature, and must be driven to find out practices of cunning hell, why this should be. I therefore vouch again, that with some mixtures powerful over the blood, or with some dram conjured to this effect, he wrought upon her.
To vouch this is no proof, without more wider and moreover test than these thin habits and poor likelihoods of modern seeming do prefer against him.
But, Othello, speak. Did you by indirect and forced courses subdue and poison this young maiden's affections? Or came it by request, and such fair question as soul to soul affordeth?
I do beseech you, send for the lady, to the Sagittary, and let her speak of me before her father. If you do find me foul in her report, the trust, the office I do hold of you, not only take away, but let your sentence even fall upon my life.
Fetch Desdemona hither.
Ancient, conduct them. You best know the place.
Iago and the attendants leave to go fetch Desdemona.
And, till she come, as truly as to heaven I do confess the vices of my blood, so justly to your grave ears I'll present how I did thrive in this fair lady's love, and she in mine.
Say it, Othello.
Her father loved me, oft invited me, still questioned me the story of my life. From year to year, the battles, sieges, fortunes that have passed, I ran it through, even from my boyish days to the very moment that he bade me tell it, wherein I spake of most disastrous chances, of moving accidents by flood and field, of hairbreadth scrapes in the imminent deadly breach, of being taken by the insolent foe and sold to slavery, of my redemption thence and portents in my traveller's history, wherein of entrees vast and deserts idle, rough quarries, rocks, and hills whose heads touch heaven. It was my hint to speak, such was the process, and of the cannibals that each other eat, the anthropophagi, and men whose heads do grow beneath their shoulders. This to hear would Desdemona seriously incline. But still the house affairs would draw her thence, which ever as she could with haste dispatch. She'd come again, and with a greedy ear devour up my discourse, which I, observing, took once a pliant hour, and found good means to draw from her a prayer of earnest heart that I would all my pilgrimage dilate, whereof by parcels she had something heard, but not intentively. I did consent, and often did beguile her of her tears, when I did speak of some distressful stroke that my youth suffered. My story being done, she gave me for my pains a world of sighs. She swore in faith 'twas strange, 'twas passing strange. She wished she had not heard it, yet she wished that heaven had made her such a man. She thanked me, and bade me, if I had a friend that loved her, I should but teach him how to tell my story, and that would woo her. Upon this hint I spake. She loved me for the dangers I had passed, and I loved her that she did pity them. This only is the witchcraft I have used. Here comes the lady. Let her witness it.
This is the Duke. Enter Desdemona, Iago in attendance. Now, here's the Duke again. I think this tale would win my daughter, too. Good Brabantio, take up this mangled matter at the best. Men do their broken weapons rather use than their bare hands.
I pray you, hear her speak. If she confess that she was half the wooer, destruction on my head, if my bad blame light on the man. Come hither, gentle mistress. Do you perceive all this noble company where most you owe obedience?
Here's Desdemona. My noble father, I do perceive here a divided duty. To you I am bound for life and education. My life and education both do learn me how to respect you. You are the lord of duty, and I am hitherto your daughter. But here, my husband, and so much duty as my mother showed to you, preferring you before her father, so much I challenge that I may profess due to the Moor, my lord.
God be with you! I have done. Please it your grace, on to the state affairs. I had rather to adopt a child than get it. Come hither, Moor. I here do give thee that with all my heart, which but thou hast already with all my heart, I would keep from thee. For your sake, jewel
I am glad at soul I have no other child. For thy escape would teach me tyranny, to hang clogs on them. I have done, my lord.
Let me speak like yourself and lay a sentence, which as a grace or step might help these lovers into your favor. When remedies are past, the griefs are ended, by seeing the worst which late on hopes depended. To mourn a mischief that is past and gone is the next way to draw new mischief on. What cannot be preserved when fortune takes? Patience her injury a mockery makes. The robbed that smiles steals something from the thief. He robs himself that spends a bootless grief.
So let the Turk of Cyprus us beguile. We lose it not so long as we can smile. He bears the sentence well that nothing bears, but the free comfort which from thence he hears. But he bears both the sentence and the sorrow that to pay grief must of poor patience borrow. These sentences to sugar or to gall, being strong on both sides, are equivocal. But words are words. I never yet did hear that the bruised heart was pierced through the ear. I humbly beseech you, proceed to the affairs of state.
The Turk, with a most mighty preparation, makes for Cyprus. Othello, the fortitude of the place is best known to you, and though we have there a substitute of most allowed sufficiency, yet opinion, a sovereign mistress of effects, throws a more safer voice on you. Therefore be content to slubber the gloss of your new fortunes with this more stubborn and boisterous expedition.
The tyrant custom, most grave senators, hath made the flinty and steel couch of war my thrice-driven bed of down. I do agonize a natural and prompt alacrity I find in hardness, and do undertake this present wars against the Ottomites. Most humbly, therefore, bending to your state, I crave fit disposition for my wife. Do reference of place and expedition, with such accommodation and besort as levels with her breeding.
If you please, be it at her father's.
I'll not have it so.
Nor I.
Nor I. I would not there reside to put my father in impatient thoughts, by being in his eye. Most gracious Duke, to my unfolding lend your prosperous ear, and let me find a charter in your voice, to assist my simpleness. What would you, Desdemona? That I did love the Moor to live with him, my downright violence and storm of fortunes may trumpet to the world. My heart subdued, even to the very quality of my lord. I saw Othello's visage in my mind, and to his honors and his valiant parts did I my soul and fortunes consecrate. So that, dear lords, if I be left behind, a moth of peace, and he go to the war, the rights for which I love him are bereft me. And I a heavy interim shall support by his dear absence. Let me go with him.
Let her have your voice. Vouch with me. Heaven, I therefore beg it not, to please the palate of my appetite, nor to comply with heat, the young effects in me defunct, and proper satisfaction, but to be free and bounteous to her mind. And heaven defend your good souls, that you think I will your serious and great business scant, for she is with me. No. When light-winged toys of feathered Cupid seal with wanton dullness my speculative and office instruments that by disports corrupt and taint my business, let housewives make a skillet of my helm, and all in thine and base adversities make head against my estimation.
Be it as you shall privately determine, either for her stay or going. The affair cries haste, and speed must answer it.
You must away tonight.
With all my heart.
At 9 in the morning, here we'll meet again. Othello, leave some officer behind, and he shall our commission bring to you, with such things else of quality and respect as doth import you.
So please your grace, my ancient, a man he is of honesty and trust.
To his conveyance I assign my wife. With what else needful your good grace shall think to be sent after me.
Let it be so. Good night to everyone. The Duke says this to Brabantio, the stupid father. And, noble signor, if virtue no delighted beauty lack, your son-in-law is far more fair than black.
Adieu, brave Moor. Use Desdemona well.
Look to her, Moor. If thou hast eyes to see, she has deceived her father, and may thee.
The Duke, the senators, and officers all leave.
My life upon her faith. Honest Iago, my Desdemona must I leave to thee. I prithee, let thy wife attend on her, and bring them after in the best advantage. Come, Desdemona, I have but an hour of love, of worldly matters and direction, to spend with thee. We must obey the time.
Exit Othello and Desdemona, leaving only Rodrigo and Iago. Rodrigo, folks, is in love with Desdemona, so that's why he's going to be behave like this. And he's just an asshole. Here's Rodrigo.
Iago. This is my Rodrigo voice. Iago.
What sayest thou, noble heart?
What will I do, thinkest thou?
Why, go to bed and sleep.
I will incontinently drown myself.
If thou dost, I shall never love thee after. Why, thou silly gentleman.
It is silliness to live, when to live is a torment. And then have we a prescription to die when death is our physician.
Oh, villainous. I have looked upon the world for 4 times 7 years, and since I could distinguish betwixt a benefit and an injury, I never found a man that knew how to love himself. Ere I would say I would drown myself for the love of a guinea hen, I would change my humanity with a baboon.
What should I do? I confess it is my shame to be so fond, but it is not in my virtue to amend it.
Virtue. A fig. 'Tis in ourselves that we are thus or thus. Our bodies are gardeners, to the which our wills are garden. Oh, our bodies are gardens, to the which our wills are gardeners. So, that if we will plant nettles or sow lettuce, set hyssop and weed up thyme, supply it with one gender of herbs or distract it with many, either to have it sterile with idleness or manured with industry, why, the power and corrigible authority of this lies in our wills. If the balance of our lives had not one scale of reason to poise another of sensuality, the blood and baseness of our natures would conduct us to the most preposterous conclusions. But we have reason to cool our raging motions, our carnal stings, our unbitted lusts. Whereof I take this that you call love to be a sect or scion.
It cannot be.
It is merely a lust of the blood, and a permission of the will. Come, be a man. Drown thyself. Drown cats and blind puppies. I have professed me thy friend, and I confess me knit to thy deserving with cables of perdurable toughness. I can never better stead thee than now. Put money in thy purse. Follow thou the wars. Defeat thy favor with an usurped beard. I say, put money in thy purse. It cannot be that Desdemona should long continue her love unto the Moor. Put money in thy purse, nor he his to her. It was a violent commencement, and thou shalt see an answerable sequestration. Put but money in thy purse. These Moors are changeable in their wills. Fill thy purse with money. The food that to him now is as luscious as locusts shall be to him shortly as acerb as to the colonquitida. Colloquintida. she must change for youth. When she is sated with his body, she will find the error of her choice. She must have change. She must. Therefore, put money in thy purse. If thou wilt needs damn thyself, do it a more delicate way than drowning. Make all the money thou canst. If sanctimony and a frail vow betwixt an erring barbarian and a super subtle Venetian be not too hard for my wits and all the tribe of hell, thou shalt enjoy her. Therefore make money. A pox of drowning thyself! It is clean out of the way. Seek thou rather to be hanged encompassing thy joy, than to be drowned and go without her.
Wilt thou be fast to my hopes if I depend on the issue?
Thou art sure of me. Go, make money. I have told thee often, and I retell thee again and again, I hate the Moor. My cause is hearted. Thine hath no less reason. Let us be conjunctive in our revenge against him. If thou canst cuckold him, thou dost thyself a pleasure. Me? A sport. There are many events in the womb of time which will be delivered. Traverse. Go, provide thy money. We will have more of this tomorrow. Adieu.
Where shall we meet in the morning?
At my lodging.
I'll be with thee betimes.
Go to. Farewell. Do you hear, Rodrigo?
What say you?
No more of drowning. Do you hear?
I am changed. I'll sell all my land.
Exit Rodrigo. Thus do I ever make my fool my purse. For I my own gain knowledge should profane if I would I time expend with such a snipe. But for my sport and profit, I hate the Moor. And it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he has done my office. I know not if it be true, but I, from mere suspicion in that kind, will do as if for surety. He holds me well. The better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio's a proper man. Let me see now. To get his place and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? Let's see. After some time, to abuse Othello's ear, that he is too familiar with his wife. He hath a person and a smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false. The Moor is of a free and open nature that thinks men honest that but seem to be so, and will be as tenderly led by the nose as asses are. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.